Rabbanim.
So
Great Torah.
Great Torah. Hi. Okay.
Hi.
We have several really important announcements to make today. And I think the most important thing is that on March 10th, the Oscars. Please don't forget that. Don't call any of your friends from 6 to 9:30 p.m. So that's really
from 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Starting early this year.
So it's 3.5 hours before the 7:30. Okay,
Thank you, Sydney.
that's that. Now, this next week, a week from today, March 20. Next week is our Siyum. So I want to tell Cindy and everybody else to get the materials, what you need, the pickled herring, the gefilte fish, whatever you have to celebrate the closing of the study of the book of Exodus. Hi, Kat. Excuse me. The book of Exodus.
Aw, how sweet.
So next week, we will have a Siyum, and since we're not physically together, we ask you to supply your own food, but we're starting next. This is really, really personal, and I don't do things like this much at all. I'm asking you to attend a program, and okay, March 24th at 10 a.m. We are having from 10 to 11:30 a.m. a program on what I lovingly call Book 3, Reforming Judaism. I know that some of you have already heard the presentation. I am asking you to get over that obstacle. We have to do a turnout. It's really important, basically because Wilshire has scheduled, rescheduled, unscheduled, disscheduled this program over a period of 4 months. So we finally have a date, March 24th. Leah Hochman, professor, and I will be having a program. Jim is not on. Jim Bruxon is not on yet. I don't see Jim. Jim sent out an incredible letter asking people to join. And if you don't like me, like Jim Bruxon, please come on March 24th at 10 a.m. If you've seen the program already. Be there, bring your iPhone, text, speak to people, during the meeting. We don't care. Just show up, okay? And if you could bring each of you 10 to 20 of your closest friends, it would be also really, really good. It's important. We're trying to expand the program offerings, and this is going to be part of that. March 24th, 10 a.m. And
Is it at Resnick? I'm asking.
Where is it? Resnick.
Oh, you left that out.
Everything is at Resnick now. I think everything is at Resnick, so that it's Resnick. Okay, so I have Siyum, I have March 10th, I have March 24th, and okay, now something that is far more difficult to talk about, but I have to. First of all, I would like to acknowledge with humility Rabbi Karen Fox, Rabbi Emerita of Wilshire Boulevard Temple, who is making our session this week. I mean, it's the place to be. So, Karen, hi, beautiful. Good to see you. Good to see you. Karen, there's Tamara over there. You know most of the people here, and we're honored. I'm thrilled. Okay. Now, no smiles. some of you are aware of the fact that this week I announced that I'm shutting down my Thursday evening Facebook posting about Torah study. I have been doing that since 2015. And this coming Thursday night, which is that weekend, I will be making my last post. And there's a reason for that. And because some of you watch that, information is out in the community that I need to address. I am shutting it down because of ill health. My health is at this point deteriorating, and it no longer will sustain the happy 4 hours, not less, that I would put into preparing for the Thursday evening posting. So that's going to be happening. You're going to hear about that. But I wrote in my notes here, Chevra Torah will never shut down. I have it written. It's right here. It's right here. So you are way too precious, and no herd of doctors is going to tell me that I should unburden myself of your beautiful presence. So I'm not going to do that. So we continue until Armageddon or whatever else happens in the world. And we will be meeting, and I will be loving you, and we'll be studying together. And every once in a while, Lynn will make certain with Jacques that I get Ragalach, which that was one of the nicest gifts I ever got, Lynn. Unfortunately, Lynn, they have a short shelf life. There are 2 left, and I don't suspect they'll survive the day. So in any event, whoa! I mean, whoa! So thank you for that. Okay, the item again is, you heard about Thursday evening shutting down. Chevra Torah will never shut down. They will have to drag me out by my heels. Okay, now, any comment or question, and I will answer any question that you have.
How old are you, Rabbi? I remember you from Central. God, you look good. You look good. I remember you from Central, man. I'm 77 now. So I just, gee, time flies, and I hope you stay healthy, because every friend and I around me and relative is dying on me. So that's why it's so sad. But thank you anyway for letting me into your community.
Eric, I will try as best as I can not to die on you. That is no guarantee at this point.
I know nothing is guaranteed unless death and taxes, and the boogeyman.
That's great. Thanks, Eric. And someone just sent me a picture of my picture hanging at Central. And I have to tell you, Eric, I haven't changed a bit since the night. Lisa, stop shutting your eyes.
I see your picture on the wall going down to the basement in Central, and you look fantastic there. You look fantastic.
I just would ask that you don't say, I see your picture going down to the basement. That it's down to the lower level, which is a very nice active level. Please.
I'm sorry, but I just wish you good health, and I hope to see you many times down here. And this Torah class helped me I'm a kinless senior, so
Okay.
it's going, I go
I
into a
just felt like I
family.
was living in an episode of
Rabbi,
Doris.
may I say that your demeanor, your joy, your essence, your presence, every Shabbat morning, good Sabbath is so. Look forward to seeing you. We really love you.
Please, would you save the eulogies?
Stop that.
I would, we love each other. That's fine. Any questions you have, direct, I will answer. And if not, whatever, then we can move on. Your call. That's the kind of community we are. Okay. The basic issue is heart failure. That's the one that's making everything miserable. And that's what we're dealing with. So there we go. Any questions? If not, we're going to move on. I don't see any hands. Of course, I don't see much of anything anyway. Okay, that's good. Beautiful. Welcome home. We are on page 614.
Can I just do calendar?
I'm sorry?
Calendar.
Cindy, yes.
We had a wonderful meeting back in Klein Hall and wonderful turnout, which included singing happy birthday on Zoom to Barbara Levin for her 90th birthday this week.
Happy birthday.
We're having happy hour Tuesday night at Solidarity Restaurant. We're doing a tour of the Adamson House on the 27th, which you need to sign up in the Wilshire Weekly because space is limited. We'd love to have everybody join us. It'll be a tour and then a Greek lunch after. And then our end of the month dinner at Froman's, that Susie's the chair. You need to let her know if you want to come. The 29th, 6 o'clock at Froman's.
Okay, so let me just summarize what Cindy has said. They're having a dinner at a Polish restaurant. They're having dinner at a Jewish restaurant.
Yes.
What was the
Lunch at a
Greek restaurant.
Yeah,
okay.
we have food with whatever we do.
I'm very impressed. Okay. Anyone else have a personal thing to add? If not, I want to jump in. Okay.
Where do we meet on the bus to go to the Adams house?
It's way out there in Malibu. I don't think it's possible.
Oh, I know Malibu. Where is everybody getting together to go?
Please handle this offline.
Okay, all right.
Please. Okay. Now, just as a question, simple question, what does a sacred space look like? Simple question. I'd like to get a few responses. Okay, Susie, what does a sacred space look like?
The synagogue, like a synagogue, inside the synagogue. That would be a sacred space. That is a sacred space for me. The sanctuary. I couldn't find the word.
Okay, Susie, what makes the sanctuary a sacred space for you?
It specifically feels like prayers are welcome there. God welcomes prayers in the sanctuary. Not that God doesn't welcome prayers wherever I am. It's especially welcomed in the sanctuary. For me.
By the way, I'm going to forget this. Karen Fox is going to be teaching a course on what? Like confirmation, or can you just give a moment? You have a right to PR for your course. Karen? Are you
sacred space?
No. I'm talking about Karen Fox and the course she's teaching at Wilshire.
I'm not sure of the question because I'm not hearing so well, but my notion of sacred space is that it doesn't have to be one particular space. It can be a space where you experience God's presence. And often for me, that's at the beach, or it may be hiking. It can also be in the sanctuary. But the question is, where can I access a sense of God's presence?
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Rabbi. Steve.
Oh, I was basically going to say what Rabbi Fox just said. It's individual for every purpose. And some people feel spiritually elevated in a sanctuary, others in nature, others in a specific part of their home or yard. It's an individual determination of what makes you feel the presence of God and your um, self being elevated.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? A few more comments for you. For you, it's no right, wrong answer. For you, what makes a sacred space? Merle.
I think it's you can be alone or you can be with people, the community that you make it your people, your family, friends. However you can make it work, that to me becomes sacred space.
Thank you. Mara or again, or Harv, whoever.
Yeah, to me, it's when you have a minion. So yes, the sanctuary works for me as sacred space because you have a minion.
So the community is
Yes.
what makes a space a sacred space. Okay, fine. Rebecca.
It's any place where I feel safe.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
It's any place where I feel safe.
Could I ask you what makes you feel safe?
When I lived in Santa Cruz, I felt safe next to the one very large redwood tree I had in my backyard. I feel safe in my bedroom. I feel safe in the synagogue.
Wow. Wow. I have an image. Risa and I took, as you know, lots of teenagers to Israel, and we remained close with a number of them over the decades. One young man was a poet, a writer, and he remains that into adulthood. Very sensitive, very caring. And I have a picture of him sitting up in a tree. And you remember, Reese? Sitting up in a tree. And believe me, that tree was his sacred space. He was up in the tree, and he was where he wanted to be in touch with the universe. That's where he was. And we thought he'd outgrow it. Instead, he became a good poet. So I guess it really works for him. It's great. Mara?
I just wanted to add one thing. I agree with Rabbi Fox, but I think for me, the emphasis is on not on letting God in, but the intention of reaching out to God. So not just being in that space, but the intentionality of that.
So I'm going to switch it around a bit. It's not what you discover necessarily in the space, it's what you bring to the space. If you bring your intentionality, you're going to make the space sacred by that. Super. These are great responses. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? If not, we will move forward. But those are great answers.
I gotta say something. You're my family. I have to tell you, I'm all alone in a little apartment in a rough neighborhood where they don't respect the Jewish community. And when I come to temple, I'm alive. You're in charge of my battery. When I get on Zoom, you keep me going through the week and you help me never give up. It's just a love. You don't understand what this does to a human being. Seeing Susie smile, hearing you talk, it's just seeing Cindy's face. I just love everyone so much. And I'm busy with John. Cindy, I'm bringing you a picture John sent me of him.
Okay. So I'm going to summarize that one into seeing Cindy's face. Okay, no, I share the feeling. I mean, that's great. We see every Friday evening. So that's good. That's beautiful. That's lovely. Why do I do this? Because on page 614, which is actually Exodus chapter 35, verse 30 and following, 35, 30 and following, we run into a gentleman by the name of Bezalel. And I will take a suggestion as to who Bezalel was. You know, tell me who Bezalel was. We've encountered him before or previous years. Cindy?
He was a multi-talented construction worker, primarily responsible for building the tabernacle because he was very skilled.
Okay, but I think more than construction worker. Yes, because he did design as well as construction, indeed. Okay, so we have that. This is where he enters the world and presents an attitude toward art, which lifts art to the sacred. It's not just what the art is intended to do. It's how art is an expression of the human spirit and a reflection of divine will. Art is a reflection of divine will. Here we go. Moses said to the Israelites, nice beginning. See, the Eternal has singled out by name Bezalel, son of the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. Let's just stop with that. There's a question. Bezalel is the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. The rabbis wanted to know, hey, who's this Hur? Where'd he come from? And what is he about? Who is he? What's his status? And we get a little bit of something that could be in a magazine outside a supermarket. The rabbi, Rashi said that Hur was either the son or the husband of Miriam. How is that for a combination? Son or husband? I'm not going to really go into that. I can see the magazine cover. Is it true what they say about Miriam? Moses' sister is whatever. But Hur was either the son or the husband of Miriam. Who can tell me anything else about the family of Miriam? That's right, Cindy.
There's nothing. Isn't this 500 years later?
There is nothing. There is nothing. No, this is contemporaneous, if you will, with what's going on, Cindy. But it's so strange that in the lives of the great heroes of the Jewish people, we have such a lack of biographical data, background.
Mysterious lady.
Well,
so did they just make this up?
No, it's divine inspiration.
Okay.
Well,
But
how is Miriam in the tribe of Judah?
he is of the tribe of Judah.
Well, not if he's her son.
Well, depends on the husband. Steve, I'm not going to pursue that necessarily because it's a little bit fabricated. Eric, you have your hand up. I can't see you, but yes.
Yes. See, Bezalel's ancestors were the tribe of Judah, and and Caleb was his generation. Generated from the tribe of Judah too, and they gave good responses. One was the good response on the spies, and Bezalel was a craftsman. Good, talented people came from the tribe of Judah. Ain't that something?
You're good. I mean, Judah is of course, as a matter of fact, on verse 34, we're jumping a little bit. It mentions that Bezalel had a partner, Oholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. Now, you're going to get a little bit here of the socioeconomic concerns of the medieval commentators when they say, oh, look, they took Bezalel, who is of the tribe of Judah, which, as Eric points out, was the great, recognized, celebrated, good place to be from, #1 primary tribe. They took Bezalel, and is this DEI? I don't know. They took Oholiab, who is from the least distinguished tribe, the tribe of Dan, and they together would devise and lead the construction of the tabernacle. So the rabbis in the Middle Ages used the occasion to celebrate inclusivity. If anyone tells you that inclusivity is a 21st century phenomenon, tell them in the Torah it indicates that the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Dan, the richest and the poorest, came together to build the sanctuary. So there you got it. Okay?
Hear, hear.
Terrific. We are on the good side. But Miriam has no clear family line. And who else has a very weak family line? Who has a weak family line?
Moses.
You got it. Moses has a weak family line. We can attribute Moses's weak family line to his eradication, that as time passed and the tribe of Levi became dominant, Jewish scribes basically wrote the family of Moses out of history. The decision was made ex post facto. Levi is the dominant one. Moses disappears as a competing factor. I don't know. I hadn't thought about this. But perhaps there are still some descendants of Moses locked away in Siberia, where dissident groups are sometimes placed. Moses's family basically disappears. Miriam's family doesn't exist, and the family of Aaron is the surviving family over thousands of years. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Howard, please.
Another way possibly to look at it is that this whole Exodus and Genesis 2 are exercises in rewriting history. And these are all just made up things and trying to change history, whereas the tribes were actually constantly warring with each other and viewed each other as others, to try to say, no, we are all descended from the same people. And therefore, when you're making up stories, you might just say Pharaoh and not even, as in the rest of the Bible, talk about which Pharaoh, who his father was, when he lived, and so on.
I would love to have a chance tomorrow to invite Dr. Jacob Wright to come to our Chevra Torah once and talk about what Howard just raised. How much of what we have written in the Torah is an expression of history, a rewriting of history, a political shaping of history. Jacob Wright has written a an award-winning, best-selling major book on the origin of Torah. And he is a collaborator of Tamara, and I dare say a friend of mine. He's quite a guy. And maybe Tamara, we can get, do you think? I don't know, to get to join us on a Saturday morning and put Howard in his place. I mean, answer the questions as we can. And I think I hadn't thought about it. It would be a great experience. It would be great. The only problem is he's operating out of Atlanta. He'd have to join at 6 a.m. But
no.
Let me try. Okay. David Trainer asks, what's the title of Wright's book? I have it on my dresser, but not here. Tamara, do you have the title of the book?
I'll put it in the chat. It is Why the Bible Began. And it just won yet another award by the Association of something of Publishers called the Prose Award as the best book of the year on religion.
Wow.
It had been featured in the New Yorker, and on Amazon was #1 for a long time. So it does illustrate what Howard said, just how the Bible in fact create a peoplehood by bringing diverse streams of populations together and weaving the stories and finding a way to unite diversity without becoming uniform. So it reads like a mystery novel. It's a really good book. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you for that. The thing that troubles me in what you said is that he's going to say that Howard was right.
No, he's right.
I don't like that, but okay. So
if I understood, Howard, you said that this is retrospective, putting people together. Sorry.
Okay, so you're going to put the book title in the chat? Okay, super. Thank you. Okay, so we have a great program coming up sometime. I'll be there. Exciting. Okay, now, his name was Bezalel, son of Hur of the tribe of Judah, endowing him with a divine spirit of skill, ability, and knowledge of every kind of craft. Ibn Ezra at this point used a very interesting description of Bezalel. Ibn Ezra says he was saturated with wisdom. Isn't that a lovely thing? He was saturated with wisdom. You touch him and wisdom overflowed from that. Love that. Now, this one I'm going to turn again to tomorrow because it's a question I couldn't answer. The translations, and maybe Howard, maybe others have different translations. Knowledge in every kind of craft. The Hebrew, v'chol malacha. So malacha seems widely translated as craft. And in my weak background, I would normally translate it as work.
Tasks.
All kinds of work. Is there any basis for craft is different than work? Tamara, is there?
No, I think there's no reason to say mlacha is something else here. It suggests he knew how to do everything, like a handyman, skill, but no, it's work, not necessarily craft. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I wonder what Robert Alter has. Howard, you have Robert Alter.
Because I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom and in understanding and in knowledge and in every task to devise plans.
Task.
To work The task to devise plans to work in gold and silver and bronze.
I mean, fine. I don't mean to pick at it, but craft. Okay, so every kind of work, and according to the description of what Bezalel did, he oversaw absolutely everything from the gathering of the materials to the working with metals to the weaving of materials to the assembling of the matter and so forth. There are many midrashim about the work of Bezalel, and they're good, and it's all positive. He's a good guy in Jewish history. So the midrash has Moses speaking to Bezalel. Okay, B. He called it B. They were buddies. He said, B, what I want you to do is to start making the menorah and the table and the laver and all the other good things that you're going to be making. And when you have all those things made, make the tabernacle itself to contain them. And Bezalel says to Moses, and by the way, the tradition really has Bezalel trumping Moses in the design of the tabernacle. It's pretty interesting. Okay. And Bezalel is said to say to Moses, hey, Mo, you don't build the furniture of a house before you build the house itself. Why don't we build the tabernacle first, and then we'll go about building the ark and the this and the that and the that. And Moses said, good idea. So the role of Bezalel, it's very, very good. But let's keep looking. This is fun. And inspiring him to make designs for work in gold, silver, and copper. Now, again, because I'm in a picky, nasty mode, verse 32, inspiring him to make designs. That sounds lovely. Is that what the Hebrew says?
Is it verse 32 or chapter 32?
Verse 32. I wouldn't run on chapters. Verse 32, chapter 35. What do you have?
35? What chapter?
Chapter 35, verse 32. What do you got? Are you with me, Howard?
What? Oh, to read it?
Verse 32, out loud.
Verse 32, it says to work in gold and silver and bronze and stone cutting for settings and wood carving, and in wood carving to do every task of device.
Okay, that's already 33, but start 32 again.
32 again. I don't know exactly where it starts. 31, somehow it says something like to devise plans to work in gold and silver. And
devise plans.
Devise plans, yeah.
All right, that's the point that I wanted to hit at. So we have here inspiring him to make designs, devise plans, and it's just interesting to me, the Hebrew, v'lachshov machshavot, to think thoughts. That's what the Hebrew says, to think thoughts. And the translators make it really lovelier. He's not thinking thoughts. He's inspiring to make designs. Okay, the world isn't going to be shattered by this difference. It's just interesting to me how the art of translation, in fact, really is interpretation. And so it goes. Okay, and to cut stones for setting and to carve wood. And I love the Hebrew as well here, because the same word is used in the Hebrew for the cutting of stones and the carving of wood. The cutting, the carving, both the same Hebrew root. Okay, so Bezalel multiple talents. He does everything. And then on top of it, verse 34, little phrase, and to give directions. Okay? Now you get the picture. He isn't just the guy sitting in some atelier drawing designs and patterns and doing stuff like that. He's out there controlling a team. He puts together a team. He makes certain that everything works. You got to see Bezalel as running an operation. And Moses is nowhere connected with it. Bezalel and then eventually Oholiab are the ones giving that work. They have been, verse 35, have been endowed with the skill to do any work. In other words, he was controlling the wood maker, the jewel carver, the metal melters and shaper. He was doing all of that, or they were, and they knew how to do it. They knew how to do it. This is a celebration of the arts. And it's one of the reasons I turned to this passage. It's a celebration of the arts. Whenever this is dated, Howard, whatever we do, the people who wrote it understood the necessary creativity, the genius to work and create art the way, Karen, your father did. It's a gift. It's a divine gift, and it puts him aside from the Moses. Brad?
Well, Rabbi, you just said the word that I was going to ask you about, this idea that the artist is divinely inspired, because it uses, those are the words in English translation, divine and inspired. So this idea that the artist is somehow divinely inspired is a trope, of course, that's come down to us through the ages. And I'm interested, this idea of being divinely inspired, where else do we see that in the Torah? Are there other characters other than artists who are divinely inspired? Is Moses divinely inspired? Is Abraham divinely inspired? It seems like this is a word. Is it limited to artists who are divinely inspired?
Endowed with the skill, verse 35. Chochmat Lev. Chochmat Lev is such, again, I'm in love with this passage. Chochmat Lev, the wisdom of the heart. That's the inspired phrase, the wisdom of the heart.
But
and I'm not sure, I don't remember enough. Karen, please.
Excuse me. My understanding is that prophets are divinely inspired because God literally puts the words in their mouth. And that phrase keeps being repeated with prophets. And I'm wondering if Bezalel is divinely inspired because of the play on Bezalel's name. Tamara is sitting here, but Bezalel, in the shadow of God. And if Bezalel is the one who is in the shadow of God and son of Uri, son of the one who brings light, and how could this not be an aspect of God's creativity working through this person, because the author has created the name so beautifully to convey it.
I'm very happy today. Thank you. I would not have moved there, Karen. Thank you. Bezalel in the shadow of God, and seeing, well, I'm going to move one step further. Seeing the message of God emerge not only in the words of the prophet, but in the design of art, that the message of God is there. I really like that. Really. Thank you. Susie?
Rabbi, in more modern times, couldn't we say that Michelangelo was divinely inspired?
He wasn't Jewish.
I'm sorry. I knew you would say that. I'm out of the box right now.
Yeah.
I think that divinely inspired can be attributed to characteristics in modern times and all times that we can be divinely inspired.
I think that's a beautiful vision, Susie. And I don't really care that he's not Jewish. Michelangelo did okay. I mean, he did some stuff.
Thank you.
At a time when we're really down on human personality and people, one of the most frequent tropes we hear today is, how can people be so stupid? And war and destruction and cruelty. And this is saying that there's an aspect of the human soul that connects with the divine in making things, worlds, communities of beauty. And that is also, thank you, that is also a part of the human soul. My God, I don't want you to go home feeling uplifted today. Risa.
I hear the phrase divinely inspired. It brings me back to how we explain the writing of the Torah, that the people who wrote were divinely inspired.
That's the language we use, even though, I bump up against a wall personally, Risa, you know that. I don't envisage a divine being inspiring an individual. It to me, it theologically is a little tough. But what is there is implanted within the human soul is that possibility. And when you open that possibility, you are opening yourself to the divine in the universe. I could say that. Thank you. Okay, are we having fun? This is just different. We're not talking about animal sacrifices or keeping the Sabbath. It's just different. And I love it for that. They have been endowed with skill to do any work. The carver, the designer, the embroiderer, blue, purple, crimson yarn, fine linen, the weaver, as workers in all crafts and as makers of designs. Wow. Look what's going on here. Look what's going on in the middle of the text. Then verse 36 sets up the structure. Let them, Bezalel and Oholiav, and all the skilled persons whom the Eternal has endowed. Now they're going to use again Chochmat Lev, the wisdom of the heart, which God gave them, with Chochmah, with wisdom, Tavuna, with understanding. Within them, Ladat Lasot. And those are two, what an interesting pairing of verbs. Ladat is to know, and Lasot is to do. It's not just that they had the capability of doing, they did it. They did it. These were the artists. Can you back off for a moment and now understand clearly why the name of Israel's most outstanding art institute is the Bezalel Institute? You talk about connecting ancient times to modern world. Bezalel. The school was opened in 1906. Art, design, also literature, trains aspiring artists. And the school today has 3,500 students and faculty located in the middle of Jerusalem in an ultra-modern building.
Wow.
Yeah. So with all the other stuff, I almost said crap, but I'm not going to. With all the other stuff going on about Israel, in the middle of Jerusalem in the Bezalel Institute, they are creating the artisans of tomorrow to keep the future going. And by the way, it touches me that ordinarily we would speak of Judaism as having a negative attitude toward the arts, toward representational art. Very, very much, a thing that has crept into Jewish life. And from my perspective, that's not what is at the origin. The origin is an appreciation of the arts. Okay? Now, so they can do all the stuff, perform expertly the tasks with the service of the sanctuary, carry out all that the Eternal has commanded. Where is Moses? God is talking directly to Bezalel at this point. He's giving him the good word. Okay, Moses called them. Now, we're going to move on. There's more, but any question or comment? Okay, Reese, is anyone saying anything nasty in the chat? I'm so wary of you people.
I have a question, Rabbi.
Okay, question.
When it says let, ask Rabbi Fox, she would know. And tomorrow, when it says let them create, and what context is that? Like, if you're like, you didn't go to Juilliard, you want to put I'm going to just share it. I asked if I could play at Rabbi Leader's Gala because I'm an unknown artist, but I have a gift.
Let's leave that.
I want to know what that means, let, in the Torah, when it says let.
Let's keep on the text.
Yes, sir. When it says let, how do you let someone? Rabbi Leader said talk to him, so I'm going to call his secretary. But let, what does that mean in Hebrew?
I don't have the word you're asking about. I'm sorry.
It says let them create. When we were talking about the craftsmen earlier.
Let them. The word let. Oh, I'm going to use a word I learned about 40 years ago. Is a jussive. Let them. It's a command. Let them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
A jussive. I haven't used the word jussive in a long time. Now, the rabbis want to understand what is it that gave Bezalel all these skills. And here is another one out of the Midrash. Bezalel's greatest skills came from the fact that he could reorganize, manipulate, and play with all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And that Bezalel created by weaving those letters into meaning. Now, I'm not going to refer to the fact that Risa does jigsaw puzzles, but it's like jigsaw puzzles. The letters are out there. They're in the universe. And Bezalel had the capacity to move the letters around until something magnificent emerges. Now, where did the letters come from? The rabbis have an answer too. Do you remember when Moses came down and, this whole mess with the golden calf, and he smashed the tablets? Oh, now you're all, I got it. I got it. Yes. Yeah. He smashed the tablets, releasing the letters.
Wow.
And letters from the tablets he manipulated into the creations of the tabernacle, the ark, the whatever. I know somehow Rebecca looks very happy this morning. I'm not sure why. You seem to be enjoying it. Yes. Yeah. The image of the letters flying loose in the world. And Bezalel could put them together. I'm going to ask a much more serious question. This is very similar to God's creation of the world. How? What's the similarity? How does God create, according to the rabbis? Steve.
God creates by speaking.
God creates by speaking. What happens when you speak? You speak
words.
Not only that, Steve, God had a blueprint. And what was the blueprint for creation?
The Torah.
You
the heavenly Torah.
Thank you. Okay, I noticed, David, that you had the right answer, but you came too late. The Torah, the words, the letters of Torah were used by God in the creation of the universe. The words and the letters of Torah were used by Bezalel in the creation of the tabernacle. Okay, David, I have to get to you, even though I had another question, but you're up. Go ahead. No, go. David, please.
I was going to say, you could go back one step and say the very first thing God does is breathe upon the water. And breathing is speaking. So you could say that the very first thing is the commencement of words. God,
are we doing good today, right? Well, we are not talking about animal sacrifice. God breathed. Some of us had a B'nai Mitzvah that talked all about Ruach Elohim, Merachefet, and the whole thing. Yes, that's true. The words, but I want to draw one last parallel to confront the fact that we've run out of time. One last parallel. The creation of the world is replicated in the creation of the tabernacle. Now think about that. God's great act of creativity is to bring the universe into being, and human beings created a place, going back to my original question, in which we can find safety, security, uplift in the presence of God. So when we abuse the term made in the image of God, please see here in this Sedra, human beings are in fact doing what God does. We are creators of this civilization, this world. What we create is what will endure. That's the human task. Oh, that's a sermon. With that, I will end. Risa, did you have something new, or you just left your hand up? What? Brad?
Well, Rabbi, I just was going to say that's how I've interpreted we're created in God's image, that each one of us, when we create, that's when we approach the divine. You don't have to be an artist to be divinely inspired. When you create, even if you're a dumb accountant like me, you can be divinely inspired.
The day that you become listed as a dumb accountant, was the day I'm to declare myself a master of Greek literature. But okay, we're going to go now right to Kaddish, which is our want. May I just thank you for a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day today.
Thank you.
Very, 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 very. Okay, let's stop being happy. We're doing Kaddish now. Okay. Mention those who have passed away during the past month. Paul Beck, Myrna Engler, Leonor Lottie First, Thomas Kirk, Melvin Colrider, Beto Kuchuk-Levy, Arlene Schaefer, Ida Tenenbaum, Dave Warren. And the yortsites, the anniversaries of the deaths of the following occurred during the past week. Bill Abrams, Mordo Ben, Altabet, Rosalie Appel, Constance Austin, Jack Becker, Solly Berman, Charmaine Blatt, Pamela Branch, Byron Brandt, Ruth Bronte, Helen Brownlee, William Brunman, Harriet Burton, Jack Chinsky, Sylvia Chiswick, Menachem Davidson, Shmuel Dick, Robert Doyle, Merle Cannon, Menashe Elyachar, Ann Epstein, Inez Eskowitz, Frank Fetter, Robert Feldman, Helen Felsenthal, Alan Elliott Fierstein, Seymour Finkelstein, Max Martin Fisher, Harry Fleischman, Sonia Friedman, Harold Getz, Harry Gil Fenban, Marlene Goldblum, Rosalie June Goldinger, Mickey Goldman, Charles Goodman, Simon Grant, David Han, Edith Hecht, Elliot Hechtman, Yuet Chun Ho Chan, Linda Hockman, Louis Jacobs, Jean Campbell Jones, Arthur Joseph, Shifra Karkomi, Brett A. Kirstein, Joseph Klein, Gordon Copal, J. Lindsay, Lois Jean Lovey, Ruth Lennick, Alfred Freddie Lisbon, Arthur Luster, Menachem, Timothy Magnan, Leo Morantz, Lillian Mark, Deanna Mason, Ruth Matson, Jerry Meyerson, Jala Mishkanian, Kathy Feinstein Moliver, Naaman Naeem, Shirley Yoakum, David Osgood, Irving Part, Claire Persky, Arlene Price Skarsky, Candace Rogers, Ann Bessie Rosen, Molly Rosenbaum, Gideon Rossner, Patty Ross, Jacob Rubin, Marcel Risenberg, Mark Lloyd Saban, Ruth Saban, Shirley Shulman, Abe Seamus, James Stanford, Jacqueline Rose Schiff, Ronald Schiff, Lillian Schmidt, Harry Schneider, Albert Serlin, Nancy Chappelle, Nika Francesca Sidner, Daisy Seneco, Melvin Sires, Sarah Slan, Ruth Sones, Viva Sprague, Regina Taricca, Louis Trentalis, Robert Valace, Joan Vogel, Albert Wagman, Alexander Wasserman, Shirley Weinstein, Anna Weissman, Mike Weiss, Yale White, Maurice Wilczyk, Pearl Yeager, Lester Zickerman. If there are other names to be remembered at this time, please speak those names out loud or in your hearts.
And my aunt, Vera Solomons.
We bear in mind also the names of those who died in defense of the United States, those who died in defense of the state of Israel, those who died through senseless acts of terror and horror, those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. We embrace them all as together we say, Yitkadal, V'yitkadash, V'yalma, Yamlich Malchutei, V'chayekol, V'yomekol, V'chayekol Israel, Ba'akala, V'yishmari, V'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Rabba, Le'olam, Le'olmei, Almaya. Yitparach, Yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitrovlam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Kudika, Richu, Le'ela min kol birchata, Shishirata, Tushbachata, Echamata, Da'amiran Da'ama, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, Amen. Oseh shalom.
Say shalom.
Yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. May God who makes peace in the high places make peace in our hearts, make peace in our homes, make peace in the household of Israel, make peace among all the families and nations of earth, and let us say amen.
Amen.
Love being with all of you, Karen. This was a real honor. Thank you very,
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Karen.
you,
Bye, Rabbi
Rabbi.
Karen.
Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.